Hello, this is Tom, aka Gedeon, here for Star Frontiers Gamer and Tabletop Tap Room. And today is Fanzine Friday. We are doing Fanzine Friday number 42, which means we are looking at Frontier Explorer number 17. Frontier Explorer number 17 had a robot theme. So not every single thing in here is robots, but the majority of it is. Robot cover done by AZ Gamer. And now the anchor article in here for the robot theme is right here by Joseph Cabadas, Robots Rules of Order Revised, a nearly comprehensive guide to creating your mechanical friends. Thorough. There's like 20-something pages of just thoroughness on robots. And then at the end, there's a checklist for robot creation checklist. So this is a handy resource. Now, because it's so long, you might be tempted to look at it and go, and jump to the end and skip over it. I want to point out a few little gems I spotted in here. So on page 13, we get down into these robot programs. And you get this crash wish. Crash wish. A robot becomes disabled. This program will activate a certain set of instructions, including self-destruction, sending out a distress message, hibernation, etc. The methods of how this program can be used entirely depends upon what the robot is equipped with or what condition it's in. A robot without any kind of explosive can still be programmed to erase its memory or overload its circuitry. So, absolutely fantastic robot program. He's priced it out at $1,250. That is completely in keeping with all the other robotics programs that are in the Alphadon rulebook. So I love this, and I totally think this is a thing for me as a game master to create complications. The players, they shoot up the robot and they think they're going to be able to just repair it, change its programming, and then use it. No. It has beamed out its location to its owner, and the owner's on his way with some mooks to come pick up the robot or come deal with the player characters, or maybe it's been packed full of TD-19, anticipating that somebody might tamper with, might disable it, and so when you go to, it blows up, boom, in your face. Kind of lots of different things can be done with this. So I absolutely love this particular robotics program. Now, Joseph actually created a full-on medical program to duplicate medical skill in a robot. And he priced it out at 50,000 credits. So I actually think that's like that's completely where it needs to be price-wise. I don't know if I would have picked 50,000. I might have done a little more, but I think that's completely in line with everything else for robotics programs. However, what I think is interesting is he has skinned out one medical subskill as a separate program, and it's medical first aid. So you could have a robot with this first aid program. It's not like the robot is a replacement for a medic character. He's just doing first aid. You're going to have to get back to the ship to fully get patched up. But in the field, the robot's got a first aid program, or maybe it's just a butler robot. There's no reason for it to be a full-on doctor, but because it's a butler or it's a nanny robot, it makes sense for it to have a first aid program. The nanny robots might be expected to have a minor child that it's its charge. Kids get skinned knees. It needs to be able to do first aid. That would be part of its mission. So I could see this as being a very handy program in a lot of robots, this first aid. And it doesn't let the players get off with not having a medic in the party, which the full-on medical program would. So I really like this. And it also, I noted down here, sample collection. Again, it's skinning out one sub-skill out of the environmental skill as a computer program. And what's the cost here? The cost is 750 credits. And so the sample collection, why does the environmentalist want to waste his time collecting samples? Let the robot do it. I love this idea. I think this is absolutely fabulous. And I think 750 is total right price for this robot computer program that he's done. So those are, just some of the little gems I spotted in the equipment list. But then we come down to activate, deactivate, protection plates, and security locks. And so he introduces protection plates and secure compartments. Those are pretty self-explanatory, but the real gems here, I like these anti-tamper devices. So these are to prevent you from shutting down the robot, deactivating it, so you can then get at its programming and reprogram it. And the first anti-tamper device is the electrical shock anti-tamper device, basically like a stun stick. So you could actually do 3d10 in damage from electrical shock. I would also add to here the stun. You could either do damage, electrical damage, or you could do the stun effect. Either or, per how you program it. So I like this. He then does a dose gas anti-tamper. Let's skip over the explosive and go down to the next one, poison gas. So he's basically taken two of the hand grenades off the equipment list and said, let's make it an anti-tamper device. Love that. Totally love that. But it also opens up the idea of, we could use other grenades. How about a Tangler grenade? That could be fun. Roboticist is taking the plate off, the protection plate off, to get it, and then boom, the anti-tamper device explodes in his face. It's Tangler threads, except the Tangler grenade, I believe, has a reaction speed save for no effect. Well, you're a little bit too close to the robot. So I feel like this would be a -20 reaction speed check for the roboticist to completely avoid the Tangler threats. So that's what I would do with that. I would add Tangler thread anti-tamper device. I think that would be fun, especially when the character gets stuck to this robot. This disabled robot can't go anywhere. The robot's too heavy to drag. His face and body are stuck to the robot. To me, that would be fun as the game master. And then, of course, you have why not explosives? Explosive anti-tamper device. Now he's will cause 8d10 worth of damage to characters directly working with the robot, and 4d10 of damage to all characters within a 5-meter radius. So that seems to mimic, to my memory, the fragmentation grenade. But you could actually go TD19, heavy charge of TD19 on that just as easily. That would have a much bigger kick. So these are fun security locks. Now, I would also point out that the technician skill has a sub-skill for deactivating alarms, to detect and deactivate alarms. And so, security devices. So I would use that skill to detect and deactivate these anti-tamper devices. That would be the skill check that I would be requiring for player characters. And why not? Because chances are a roboticist character has a tech PSA. They probably have more than one tech skill. So chances are they're going to have that technician check skill. And, one or two mildly disruptive anti-tamper devices in a campaign should just put player characters on notice, and at some point it's going to be the explosive anti-tamper device or the electrical anti-tamper device where you're getting zapped for some good amount of damage. So definitely, I love these ideas, nice tricks, traps, kind of things to include in Star Frontiers. We just don't have enough tricks and traps. So thank you, Joe, for inventing some for the robot. These are fabulous. Absolutely love these. And again, very thorough article. And we come on down to page 24 in the PDF. And we got the robot design checklist. And 1 through 25. 25 is have fun with your new robot friend. So it's really 24 points to this design checklist. And it's all one page. And I love it when somebody's thorough, and that's what Joe was with this. He knocked it out of the park. So this is a Game Master's toolbox right here for your game. To throw in wrinkles, to throw in tricks, traps. You know, the robot having that crash wish. When the robot crashes, this is going to happen. Might not be the explosives. It could be the call for help, which brings help. Which brings people, hey, were you messing with my robot? Yo, you know. So complications. I love that. Now a Cybot named Joker. This is a there's a little piece of fiction here to introduce him, but Kyberdyne Robots of Turladrom produced a ship installation maintenance robot for repair and management Cybot. Kyberdyne is on Turladrom. So I actually made this robot have a name. Now we know that the verse language is unpronounceable to the human tongue. So the verse robot has a name, but when it translates into Pangal, it comes out as Joint Operation Controller Electronic Remotes, which doesn't sound like much, but you just take the first letters there and it's Joker. So he is a Joker robot. And it turns out that the Joker robots were almost exclusively Dralocyte brain cores. And the robot also had a anti-shock device, anti-shock implant, which are implantable in robots. But this one was an obsolete style, and it actually worked like a circuit breaker whenever an electric shock was taken. It shut the whole thing down to prevent damage. So it operated like a circuit breaker, and it required the whole robot to be rebooted. And when the robot was rebooted, you began to get this personality that would evolve, very RoboCop-ish. Almost like there was the personality of the Dralocyte that the brain core was donated from is beginning to evolve a little bit. A little bit of this Dralocyte sense of humor, this corniness. Started coming out. Now, the interesting thing about the Joker is that the reason the Dralocyte brain core was used was because it was found that putting that in this robot made the robot much more creative in its thought processes by using a sapient, donor brain in the robot, made it more creative. And that has an impact on the ship in that the ship gains +5 DCR, damage control rating. They're also used for maintenance and repair of facilities, but those facilities don't normally have a damage control rating. I suppose you could rule that they don't normally have a damage control rating, but now they do, and it's 5% because of the robot. You could add, if there was a Starship engineer present, you could add his bonus to the damage control rating, I suppose, as well, for the facility. But by and large, because of this special ability of this robot, that makes them valuable. It makes, and the whole robot line has been discontinued. So the price on the Jokers that exist just keeps going up, 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 and up, making them a valued asset to obtain in setting. So that's where this guy came about. We've detailed him out, typical mission, typical functions, and some notes on him. And, I've actually number crunched the brand new, selling it new off the showroom floor price. But that's not the price the player characters are gonna pay. That's the what it sold for. They're now in higher demand because the whole line has been discontinued. And this is the only robot that has ever done this special +5 on DCR. So this was I thought this was a fun thing to introduce to the Frontier. I love, so his name is Joker, and he does actually like to play some practical jokes on the other mindless, stupid robots. Next up is the Scythe drone. It's a down and dirty conversion of the Reaper drone. Reaper drone is a real-world drone and deployed by the CIA and the American military, and it is effective, right? It's effective. We'll just say that. So I was looking way back then. I was looking at the Reaper drone and figuring out, all right, how could I do this with just what we have in Star Frontiers? So I approached it from that design standpoint and created a Reaper. Now, you have to understand that the weapon systems on this are 60 D10. The missiles it fires do 60 D10. So this is not a weapon system you want in the hands of the player characters. Not really. It's something that will unbalance a game lickety split. It is not something you want the big bad guys to be targeting the player characters with. 60 D10 is just a hellacious amount of damage. So the way I would use this is it does exist in setting. It's controlled. It's a controlled military asset. But the way I would introduce it into an adventure is that it's going to be used to target something, and the player characters are trying to save that thing. So they have to stop this drone, but the drone's not going to target them directly. It's looking to target a very specific target that the player characters want to protect. And that's how I would go about using it. But it's just a quick one-page article, a lot of fun. We get a discussion. I actually wrote this on a robot hand controller. That is from Mutiny on the Eleanor Mores. We talk about the Videocom receiver transmitter, walkie-talkie, Videocoms, additional rules, some suggested uses for remote control of robots. Just felt like we needed that discussion in Star Frontiers. We needed to pull the one canon item from Mutiny on the Eleanor Mores and bring it out and dust it off and republish it, redo it so that it's available for players to use. Now, robo-sourcing in the Frontier. This is another two-page, it's like a page and a half article, and it's discussing the idea that megacorps might get on this whole kick of replacing their workforce with robots. And so I called that robo-sourcing. And it's going to have consequences. And we talk about some of the consequences in here. That suddenly the Silver Death cult is finding it easy to recruit people to their cadre, recruit fresh young terrorists who have been robo-sourced out of a job, and now they hate robots and they want to strike back. So, fun article. This was a review of some sources of robots. One of my favorite is Old Glory Miniatures. Old Glory has within their line, somewhere buried within their catalog, in 25 millimeter robots, and you get a variety of bodies, and then you get arms right and left that you can attach. You can mix and match arms. So one arm could have a claw, One arm could have a weapon, or you could find the two matching claws, whatever you like. Different heads, so you mix and match heads to the body, you mix and match arms to the body, and you just make a slew of robots, whatever it is, whatever serves your purpose. I love that. I still have some in a bag in the back room, not assembled. But you start assembling these and you're thinking, all right, I don't want a warbot. I want a service robot. So you'll go towards the claw hands and the appropriate head. So I love these robots from Old Glory. I give you an example of a robot that was included, very small one. It's like that little remote control car on the Death Star. And now this was included with a Reaper technician miniature. And you had a choice of this claw arm that could be mounted on the top of this robot, or a gun, a little swivel gun. I didn't like the swivel gun. I liked the claw arm because I wanted more robots to tinker with, service, maintenance robots, that kind of thing. So I did him. That's my robot. That's him based up and painted separately from the technician. I didn't put it on the same base as her because I just thought it's too good to not use, right? I recommend, if you can ever get a hold of them, Games Workshop Necrons. They make good mechnons. But I think they're overpriced. So I never recommend you buying them new from the Warhammer store. Forget that. Wicked overpriced. If you can find them on eBay and not pay full price, that's where you got to get them. These were actually given to me, so I didn't pay anything for them. And then I did a little scratch build with a piece of Star Wars Lego. It was the Lego head for the droids in the prequel Star Wars series. And I found it in the street and I made a little dog. Those are wood beads and some plastic card and a pin, the type of pins with a ball, just wrapped it around a rod, mounted it as the dog's tail. So robot dog there. So that's just, reviewing on some sources of robot. Wherever you find a good robot miniature that you like, use it. That's what I recommend. Cybernetic Emancipation League. New cadre. This is a cadre that believes they must find cybots, cybernetic robots, and emancipate the sapient brain that's been incorporated into that robot. Very much the theme of RoboCop, where his memories are kind of coming back to him. And, so this is a cadre that's concerned with that. You get a little write-up on them and then some 4 plot hooks. So quick one page. Titan Rising comic. Local Rights Alliance, another cadre not concerned with robots. This is more of a terrorist kind of cadre trying to overturn local government. Then we get Eric Windsor, my buddy Eric, Crushing Ride to Easley Station. And so it's a nice piece of fiction, short story, very easy read. We're not going to spoil it. We get into Chris Donovan. I love this guy. He comes up with great stuff sometimes. Healing and med kits. How many times have I looked at the med kit in Alpha Dawn and thought, that is an awful lot of weight for my character to carry? And the game master is not giving me a robot to carry all my stuff for me. So I love this because he's done he's done a little review on healing and first aid, but then he does the med kit one, the first aid pack, med kit 2, first responders kit. It's a little bit lighter than the doctor's kit, and then we get into a doctor's kit at 5 kilograms. So I love it. I thought, what a great idea. Wish I had thought of it, but Chris Donovan wrote it up, and so great new equipment article. Finding the Flint Hopper, another one of the Ecology of series by Eric Windsor. And you know what the best part of this whole article is this illustration right here. the size comparison of the core 4 species to the flint hopper. We really should do more of that in the magazines. That's fabulous, and you know, we're gonna have to work at you know, making sure that we do that kind of thing in the future as well. It just puts it in perspective. And so, and then finally, we have Grimm's Guide, lesson 17, does not compute. So there we have it. Fanzine Friday 42, a review of Frontier Explorer number 17 from 2016. Nice robot-themed issue. I don't believe we've done a robot-themed issue since number 3. I think number 3 in the first year of publication of the magazine, we did a robot theme. So this was probably long overdue. So this is Tom for the Star Frontiers Gamer and Tabletop Tap Room. I want to thank you for watching my video. Thank you to my subscribers. You guys are great. If you have not subscribed, please do hit the like, subscribe, and bell icon and help me build the channel. But until then, I will see you in the frontier.